NBA team tier list. I think this is good, right? I don't know. We could do one more. We could do one more tier, I guess. I don't know. We don't need to, because man, the tank could really be like 6 to 8 teams. Like, we know there are some fucking shit teams. So, let's just go in order. Start with the Sixers. I made a video on this. If you're a great team, that's not to say that you aren't a contender or you wouldn't be a contender by the end of the year. You know, a lot can change in a year. Certainly, the 76ers have the facilities to gel well, get their continuity on a really good level. And by the time it's the playoffs, you might be 62-20. Embiid is healthy for the playoffs. James Harden's back to playing like a star. You know, you might be a contender at that point. But I think there needs to be a development from right now, point A to point B, which is the beginning of the playoffs. It's not impossible. Oh my god, dude, it's actually thundering so loud. If there's thunder in this video, by the way, if you hear thunder in the background, I'm shooting jumpers outside, you get what I'm saying? Washington Wizards are definitely a play-in contender. I don't know, I don't have to explain that one. I'm not going to explain every single one. I will explain Philly, though. So, if you didn't see my video, you probably didn't. Only like 25 people did, probably. But the reason why I have the Sixers in great teams and not contenders is because Philly is not a team we can rely on to get to the conference finals. Have they even been in the conference finals in the Joel Embiid era? They've been so close. They played in multiple Game 7s to determine if they would get to that point, and they've not done it. And they've had amazing teams that we thought would be contenders. That team with Jimmy Butler, that was a championship contending team. This team they have right now is not better than that team. It's not. That's not to say that it can't gel better or that it can't become better by the playoffs, but at this point, it's not, right? So therefore, I'm not putting it in contenders, because contenders is an exclusive club. I think DeJounte Murray is going to be like a puzzle piece, fucking completing the puzzle in Atlanta. And yeah, maybe they're not a contending team, but they're going to be really good. They're going to be really hard to beat when they have everybody. That backcourt is going to be a fucking problem for anybody they face. As this video goes on, I might honestly have to make another tier in between here and here. We're going to see. But right now, I think I'm comfortable with this right now. Cleveland Cavaliers, they got to be a playoff team, right? Maybe by the end of the year, they're like an 8 seed. Like, they are playing contender, but they should be a playoff team. Doesn't mean they will be a playoff team. I'm going to come back to that one. Detroit Pistons are a playing contender. All right, I know a lot of people think that Detroit, you know, you see Detroit basketball and you think of 20 wins like immediately, because that's just, you know, where they might belong in your mind. And it's not an irrational thought by any means, but I think they had a great, effective offseason. I think they're building something. And I think we're going to see that first step to making Detroit basketball relevant again put into place next season, especially with Cade going into year 2. This one does not need a lot of explaining. Indiana Pacers, we already know what to do. Milwaukee Bucks, we already know what to do. Is there a case for the Sixers over the Bucks? Not right now, there isn't. We have to see it, okay? Is it going to tornado? I think Atlanta is closer to Toronto than they are to Philadelphia. And I think Toronto's going to be really good. But I can't have that many teams in the great teams category. Like, that's just going to get too cluttered. Dallas Mavericks belong in the great teams category. Obviously, you have Luka Doncic. I mean, Grizzlies should be a great team. No Jaren Jackson for a few months. So they're going to start off rocky, especially on that defensive end. No Kyle Anderson. You're missing another very valuable defensive player there. So their front court depth is going to be tested. And they lost DeAnthony Melton as well. So they definitely took a step back in free agency. Luckily for them, they were one of the deepest teams in the league at this point. Starting the season, they're not going to have that same level of personnel. So I don't know. We're just going to have to see with them. Big men and their 4s and 5s, they will definitely be tested in that area. So I think that puts them a little bit below these guys. We can't put the Denver Nuggets in contenders yet. I know a lot of people are really high on them. I would be really high on them if I knew that they would all play. It's kind of like the Sixers in the way that we just have to see it. We know what the Bucks are capable of. We know they're capable of being a contender, therefore they are. We have not seen the Denver Nuggets pass the second round. Same with the Sixers. They're basically Sixers West, in a way. Joker will have his 2 and his 3, maybe, like Michael Porter Jr. Do we even really know what we're going to get? Jamal Murray, I think, can be a lot more confident that we know Jamal Murray is going to deliver if he's playing on the court like he should be, a star player. Hard to say for sure. We haven't seen him in a year, but that's why they're not in contenders. Like it's just that level of uncertainty. Minnesota Timberwolves, are going to put them in great teams as well. There's no reason why the Timberwolves should be fucking 7 seed or something. Like, you are building your team. You traded away your entire future to get a superstar defensive player, so there's no excuses. And Ant-Man is the truth. So you think. You're building a team around him as your main guy. with Cat and Rudy Gobert, and with some good supporting pieces like D'Angelo Russell, Kyle Anderson. I mean, that's an amazing starting five. If this two big man shit works, get to the playoffs, you get two physical big men. That might be tough on other teams. They're not gonna be matched up for that. It's gonna be a whole lot of mismatching. So this one's easy. We already know. Utah Jazz. I'm just gonna call it right now. Donovan Mitchell will not be on the team by the start of the season. Therefore, these guys are manning the tank. LA Clippers, baby. Listen. I know this might sound like hypocrisy because this LA Clippers team, what's their big man rotation? Is Kawhi Leonard healthy? Listen, Kawhi just missed a full year. He's going to make a full recovery. They just get John Wall. If this team is playing, they're as good as anybody. If he's playing, they're as good as anybody. Obviously, you might say it's a big if, and if he gets hurt, yeah, I'm going to look like an idiot here. But let's be honest. This might be the best team in the league healthy. They got to be here. Suns are a great team. They won 64 games last year, and their team is exactly the same. They might be a little bit hurt. Not physically hurt. They might be emotionally hurt. And that might make them lose some games. Like, there might be some trouble in the locker room. There might be some fucking depression. But they are the Suns. And we know they will deliver in the regular season. That's what they do. And they will probably win a lot of games. Therefore, they're a great team. Should I move the Hawks down? I think it just makes the most sense. I really wanted to have a bold hot take there. Nah, fuck it. Nah, keep the Hawks. I'm riding with the Hawks, man. Portland Trailblazers are a plain contending team, man. You got Dame, got Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic, Anthony Simons, Josh Hart. It's an okay team. Maybe they're not a playoff team. We can't say for sure they're going to make the playoffs. No way. They are Wizards West. The Blazers are Wizards West. You got your loyal star player raking in that cash, being loyal, signing that extension. And you have a very, very average team built around him. Very mediocre team built around him. You know, you can't win a fucking championship like that. And you're not going to guarantee yourself a playoff spot. They might have a really good year and make the playoffs, but that's only if they have a really good year. Sacramento Kings going in that same spot too. The Kings have two star players, Fox and Sabonis, if you want to call them that. I would call Sabonis a star. De'Aaron Fox needs to bounce back for sure, but on paper, you got those two guys. You got the rookie Keegan Murray. Might get you to the play-in, but they're not quite tanking team. Definitely not. New York Knicks are in the same boat, man. Same exact boat. I mean, Jalen Brunson's going to help them, but your best players are him, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle. Like, there's so much possibility for this to go wrong. Like, team play. You know, what the fuck is Tom Thibodeau doing? I think he's losing his marbles right now, so you know, I can't trust that. I can't trust that regime, you know. Really excited for the New Orleans Pelicans this year. I'm not quite putting them in great teams because they're unproven. But on paper, they have the roster. Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum. That's a big three right there in itself. Unfortunately, the reason why they're not in great teams, I said they're unproven. They did play extremely well in that that first round series. They played the Suns, and they were great. I mean, they took 2 games off the Suns. They made it a very competitive series. A series more competitive than maybe it should have been. Yeah, Devin Booker did have an injury, but I was impressed, especially by some of their young guys like Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado. I just don't know exactly how this Zion fit's going to work. He's going to be 25 a game in his sleep, probably. I mean, he's Zion Williamson. If he's on the court, it's going to be extremely difficult for one player to guard him. So you're going to need a whole team effort, and that should help get other guys open. Now, I don't know how this works with him and Valanciunas or him and whoever else is playing the 5. I don't know how he's going to be on defense, gets caught up in switches, him and Jonas Valanciunas stretching the floor on offense, if he has any sort of jump shot. These are types of things that you look at the way the NBA is played, how important spacing is right now, and there could be some concerns. Literally on both ends, spacing on offense and then switching on defense. You know, your team might be too slow. So who knows what he's going to look like, if he's going to be spry, if he's going to be fast, getting up and down in transition and stuff like that. The Hornets are not tanking. They are technically contending for the play-in. I don't believe in them to make the play-in. If they do, they're going to get shit on again, as they always do. You have LaMelo Ball. I don't know what Miles Bridges is doing. I have no idea what's going on with that. Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward. Like, you're not tanking. But, hey, by the end of the year, they might be. Who knows? Houston Rockets. Maybe they're not tanking per se. Maybe they're trying to win games, but They're not gonna. Miami Heat lost PJ Tucker, but a full season of Victor Oladipo should be really good for them. So maybe he can fill that defensive role and be a starter for their team, and then maybe we can think about them being a contender. But for right now, I can't be sold. Chicago Bulls are a playoff team, missing Lonzo Ball, and he's the key to all of it. If he's not on the team, we don't have a shot at anything. But if Lonzo Ball is healthy by the playoffs and our team is healthy by the playoffs, I would consider moving us up for sure. Brooklyn Nets. If you have everybody playing, I assume your team is going to be healthy. Ben Simmons is there, so you should be great. What's the excuse? You added new players in free agency. TJ Warren and Royce O'Neal in your wings. You're pretty low on big men, but you got Ben Simmons, Nicholas Claxton, Kevin Durant. I don't know if they have anybody after that. They might not. That might be their downfall. But, like, dude, you have so much. First of all, the shooting. Seth Curry and Joe Harris is going to be back this year. Yeah, on paper, they should be great. I'm not putting them in contenders yet. Obviously, they have to prove themselves. Like, that's the whole point of this shit. Thunder are manning the tank. There's absolutely no question about that. And the Warriors, of course. How could they not be a contender? Full season of Klay Thompson coming up. It might be scary. We'll see. Boston Celtics. They only got better in the offseason. They're a contender. Easy. And the LA Lakers. Yeah, fuck it. They got Pat Bev. Maybe they'll move Westbrook for Buddy Hield or something. Anthony Davis. Maybe he plays a season. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll say playoff teams. Could LeBron possibly miss the playoffs 2 years in a row in his career? I don't think it's going to happen. I got him in playoff teams. We'll see what happens. Pat Bev effect. And Orlando Magic are manning the tank, man. I don't care about what Paolo's going to do in year one. They are not sniffing 30 wins. You heard it here first. And the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hold up. How many East teams do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, shit, I didn't mean to do that. I'll put them in playing contenders then. We have 8 teams ahead of them. Who shouldn't be ahead of them that I have ahead of them? Chicago, Toronto, Philly, Atlanta, Miami, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Boston. Which of those teams are the Cavs need better than? Yeah, you have a great trio. Darius Garland is amazing, but you're not better than any of these teams. The only team you can make an argument for is Chicago. That's the only team you can make an argument for. So we're going to have to see. All right, this is my tier list, guys. Only thing I'll say here, the Sixers are right on this bubble right here. Like, they're right here. And the Hawks, I think they're better than all 5 of these teams, but they're kind of on a bubble too. And if anyone's saying Memphis, maybe you're right. But Memphis starting the season without Jaren Jackson, I think that's going to fuck them up. Like, they will start the year like 8-8 or some shit probably. I don't know how long he's out for, though. Maybe I should do some more research, okay? So if I'm just fucking not in the know, that's a problem. And I'll apologize. But I think, regardless, I think this is pretty good. Like come on. No, but these bottom 2 rows, I think, are indisputable. Like, what are you going to argue? Maybe that Donovan Mitchell is on the team, or they have a few players that maybe they contend for the play-in. Like, why would they want to? Like, they have Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge is going to fucking tank the fuck out of this season. He's going to try, at least. Yeah, I think this is good. So, let me know what you guys think. Where am I wrong? That's what I need. Where am I wrong? Okay, don't tell me where I'm right. I know I'm right, but where am I wrong? So, help me out. All right.